Hello and welcome to Take 10. I'm Jennifer Johnson. With us in the studio today is Susan Burkinshaw. Susan is with the MCCPTA, which is the Montgomery County Council of PTAs, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We're here to talk about the superintendent's operating budget, 2014 operating budget. You, as part of the MCCPTA, have gone out or have listened to the concerns of parents. And let's start with that. What have parents been telling you about what they want in this operating budget, what they don't want to cut out?
Well, we went out over the summer and met with all of the different areas across the county, all the PTA leaders across the county, to get their take on what they felt was important. The Curriculum 2.0 rollout is huge. They're very concerned that the resources are not in place to support the teachers who will then, of course, be implementing the curriculum with their kids. So that was a huge issue, which the superintendent has addressed, I think, in this budget with his increased supports for staff development, staffing. They have a math SWAT team in this budget proposal. So I think he really did listen to those curriculum concerns.
Tell me, what do you mean by a math SWAT team? What is that?
They are, my understanding is that they're implementing a group of math teaching experts who can go out to the middle schools where the curriculum rollout, I guess, is of the greatest concern, and actually support the teachers and help teach the kids this new curriculum.
So the parents are basically saying, you know, the curriculum's getting harder and harder. We don't want to see a cutback in the teachers and the support staff, which is going to then affect the kids.
Well, I think that over past years with the budget cuts, they've done a really good job of keeping the teachers in the classrooms. They did listen to our concerns over the years and maintain the teaching supports. But unfortunately, the staff development supports and other resource teachers were cut from prior operating budget. So there was an impact felt there, and with the new curriculum rollout, you need those supports in place to make sure that the teachers have the tools to be able to teach the kids and to learn the curriculum themselves so they can teach the kids.
Aside from the Curriculum 2.0, what were some of the other concerns that you heard from parents?
Well, school safety has always been a big issue. We lost the school resource officers in the budget several years ago. We used to have one in every high school across the county, and there were several that shared middle schools across the county, totaling upwards of, I think, with Montgomery County Police Department, we had 33 officers, including 6 sergeants. And then Gaithersburg City has always funded a school resource officer assigned to Gaithersburg High School. And the Rockville City Police does a great job supporting the Rockville City schools, including Richard Montgomery. So when those school resource officers were cut, there was a big push to make sure that our county has the same resource officers in place as other counties in the region. Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County, Howard County, Fairfax County, all have school resource officers in all or most of their high schools.
They have one police officer per high school, right? And if parents aren't aware, when we say school resource officer, we're actually talking about a real Montgomery County police officer.
Montgomery County or one of our local city jurisdiction.
Right.
Officers.
I mean, they're real.
They are law enforcement. They are deputized law enforcement officers.
Carrying a gun. They're real
Correct.
Police officers. So I'm sure that, you know, well, parents have always been concerned about this, particularly after, but especially after the Newtown shooting. So are there plans, attempts to increase the number of school resource officers at this point?
Well, Councilmember Craig Rice has been a huge advocate of school resource officers, and he was one of the lead sponsors when he was a delegate at in Annapolis. He wrote the Safe Schools Reporting Act amendment in 2008. So he has been a huge advocate. At our MCCPTA Health and Safety Forum the other night, where we addressed head-on the issues of school safety, we had in attendance Bob Helmuth from MCPS School Safety. We had Councilmember Craig Rice and Phil Andrews. We had Luther Reynolds, who's the 5th District Commander for Montgomery County Police. Chief Manger spoke. Dr. Narvez spoke in the superintendent's place. We got a commitment from Craig Rice and Phil Andrews that they would double the number of school resource officers, which would officially go from 6 to 12, but we have 25 high schools in Montgomery County. So even though Gaithersburg City has one, we're still short quite a few school resource officers. And that doesn't address the middle schools, which if you can get school resource officers to start working with the kids at the middle school level, you can't put a price on prevention, and that's a big issue. I mean, talk about the budget. The two #1 jobs of a government are public safety and public education. And kids can't learn and teachers can't teach in an unsafe environment. Right. And that's not to say that Montgomery County Public Schools and the Montgomery County Police Department and our local city police departments don't do a good job keeping our kids safe, but there's clearly always room for improvement, as we saw in Newtown.
When you say that they've made a commitment, the county council's made a commitment to double the number of SROs, how are they going about paying it? Is that coming out of county dollars, or is that in the school budget, or how?
Well, it's interesting. It's a shell game because the Board of Education is given funds out of the county budget to run our school system. We only have one taxing authority, and that's the Montgomery County government. Our Board of Ed is not its own taxing authority, so as a taxpayer, I want to know that all of my taxpayer dollars are going to fund the things that are important to me and to my neighbors as taxpayers. And when you hear county officials say, oh, well, it's not in our budget, the school system needs to pay for it. Well, the school system gets the money from the county government, so as far as I'm concerned, it's right pocket, left pocket, and somebody needs to step up to the plate and be a leader in this issue.
When you go through, you had hearings, was it last summer with the MCCPTA, or meetings with parents?
We had the area meetings over the summer, correct?
Area meetings over the summer. So then do you compile reports and then bring them to the superintendent, or how does that process work?
Well, Dr. Starr has been great with meeting with our executive team. So we've met with him several times. We shared information with him. And like I said, we had a seat at the table. 3 of our MCCPTA board members actually sat at the table with the union leaders and with Dr. Starr and his team. So we were able to, to give feedback. And really, it's difficult when you're sitting here looking at a budget. I'm not sure how familiar you or the viewers are with the MOE law, but these MOE laws have been on the books since the 80s, and the recent amendment last year really gives Montgomery County the best opportunity, should we in the future need a waiver, not to maintain that level of funding. But right now the budget, Dr. Starr's budget proposal, which is very lean, which addresses many, if not most of our concerns, if not all of them, comes in $10 million over budget. Well, we have probably one of the best school systems in the country, if not the best. Maryland has the #1 schools in the country, and I think Montgomery County is ranked #1. And certainly there's a cost for that. And certainly we've made the commitment to education in our county, but we can't just keep cruising along, especially, we're, I think, upwards of 149,000 kids in our school system now.
And that keeps going
increasing.
Up. Right.
The other point that I think is important to note, and I'm not quite sure of the exact numbers, but my understanding is that Howard County puts over 60% of local dollars into their school budget. Montgomery County, if you include the state funding that we get from the state, we're putting just over 50%, but without state funding, we're only at like 40-something% of local dollars going into our school system. So we're cutting back, and that's something that we as taxpayers need to make sure we're comfortable with if we want to maintain the best school system in the country.
So you hear from parents, you take the superintendent, you have a seat at the table with him, he creates a budget, and what's the next step? That he
has to present that certainly to the Board of Education, and then the county council has to approve the board's recommended budget.
As it stands now, as you said, it is over where it was last year. A lot of that is just increasing costs, just everything from fuel costs to medical costs to increase numbers of kids.
And Dr. Starr took a lot of heat for his salary increases that he gave to his staff. Well, as a parent, I'm very happy that he gave my kids' teachers raises, because I know what it's been like not to have salary increases for the past several years. And to know that he cares enough about his staff who are taking care of my kids every day is huge. I mean, the morale boost that the Montgomery County Public School staff got from that, I think, is priceless.
In terms of the process now and going down the line, how do parents go about contacting the MCCPTA if they are interested in having their concerns heard?
Well, we've been doing our advocacy. We had 2 operating budget hearing evenings before the Board of Education, and we'll go before the county council in a month or so. So there is some time. We have contact information on our website, mccpta.org, so we can be reached with any questions, and certainly just reach out and let us know any concerns that are out there. I mean, I think we do a good job pushing down through the local PTAs to try to get information back up, but certainly if we're missing anybody, we want to hear.
Very good. Susan, thank you very much. Great information.
Thanks so much for having me.
And thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time. Remember to visit us on the web at the link on your screen. I'm Jennifer Johnson. Join us next time here on Takedown.